Imagine trusting a new friend with your prized possessions, only to have him ruin every single one of them. Back in the 90s, when computer games were rare treasures, one kid betrayed me in the worst possible way. But he had no idea that his greed and cruelty were about to unleash the most humiliating revenge of his life. And trust me, 30 years later, I still smile thinking about it. If you've ever dreamed of serving cold, hard justice to someone who wronged you, hit that like button, subscribe, and get ready. Because this story takes betrayal, karma, and revenge to a whole new level. I grew up in the 90s, back when being a PC gamer wasn't cool. It was rare. There was no Steam, no internet stores, no instant downloads. If you wanted a new game, you either had to know someone or spend way too much money getting them shipped from abroad. That's exactly what me and my best friend did. We'd save up, order a game through airmail, and wait weeks for it to arrive. When it finally showed up, it was like Christmas morning. We'd trade with each other, make careful backup copies, even copy the built-in protections when we could. That's how we kept our little library alive. Each game was precious, like gold. And then, he showed up. A new kid joined our class. At first, he seemed cool enough. But soon he started bragging, "Oh, my uncle has tons of games. Way more than you guys. You should see my collection." Now, to us, this was huge. A treasure trove of games we'd never even touched. Monkey Island, Doom 2, The Settlers. The stuff dreams were made of. So naturally, we offered to trade. We gave him our originals, carefully packaged, discs in perfect condition. He promised to copy them and trade us some of his uncle's games in return. It felt like a win-win. But what we got back? Garbage. Floppies that didn't work. Copy protection missing. Corrupted files. Sometimes he didn't even bother copying anything at all. And the few discs we did get back? Scratched, damaged, completely ruined. Meanwhile, he had all our original games. Our money, our trust. And after months of this, you know how many working games we had from him? 0. Not a single one. I remember sitting there holding a floppy that just gave me an error message again and again, feeling my stomach twist with anger. My friend looked at me and said quietly, "He's played us. We've been idiots." And the worst part? He didn't even hide it. He laughed at us. He'd mock my love for Queen, sneering, "Why do you even listen to that gay guy, Freddie Mercury?" That cut deep. Queen was my favorite band. Freddie was my hero. But to him, it was just another chance to make me feel small. That's when something inside me snapped. Enough was enough. If he wanted to play dirty, we were going to teach him a lesson he would never forget. Now here's where fate handed us the perfect weapon. Around that time, AIDS awareness campaigns were everywhere. Freddie Mercury had died just a few years earlier, and schools were constantly holding events about AIDS prevention. One day, our class attended an AIDS Foundation event. At the end, they handed out informational flyers and free condoms with the foundation's logo. That's when it hit us. The idea. The perfect revenge. See, his family was extremely conservative. His father was strict, his mother was devoutly Catholic, and he himself was loudly homophobic, always mocking anyone even slightly different. So we decided, if he wanted to ridicule others, we'd make him feel that same heat. Me and my friend had one secret weapon most kids didn't: access to a computer and an inkjet printer. We sat down and designed an official-looking letter, copying the foundation's logo. It looked authentic, down to the formatting and wording. The letter read, "Dear First Name, thank you for your letter. We understand it's difficult being open about being homosexual, and you have many questions after the event you attended with your class. Please find enclosed a flyer which should answer many of your questions, as well as some condoms. Please practice safe sex at all times." We printed it, folded it neatly, stuffed it into an envelope with the flyers and condoms we'd grabbed. And the best part? We didn't send it to him directly. We addressed it to Mr. Last Name, his father. So guess who opened it first? We dropped it in the mailbox and waited. A few days later, the storm hit. He showed up at school looking pale, furious, and embarrassed. His mother had been hysterical, crying, screaming. His father was livid. They grounded him for weeks, convinced he was secretly gay, sneaking around, writing to AIDS foundations. The humiliation was unbearable for him. He couldn't even look us in the eye. He tried to deny it, but his parents didn't believe a word. And honestly, watching this arrogant, greedy thief finally feel powerless, it was delicious. Of course, he eventually started suspecting us. We couldn't resist fishing a little, asking leading questions, smirking when he ranted. At first, he thought maybe we'd contacted the foundation pretending to be him. But then, we slipped. We let him know it was us who forged the whole thing. That's when he snapped. He told his parents, and before we knew it, we were all sitting in the principal's office. There we were, me, my friend, him, and his furious parents. The principal looked at us, shaking his head, asking, "Why would you do something like this?" And I just remember sitting there, trying not to smile, thinking, because justice needed to be served. Looking back now, 30 years later, was it cruel? Yeah, it was harsh. But was it deserved? Absolutely. He stole from us. He mocked us. He treated us like we were nothing. And for once, he had to face consequences bigger than us calling him out. It remains the most satisfying revenge I've ever pulled off in my life. Picture this. A kid who thought he was untouchable, who laughed at others, who stole and mocked, sitting in his bedroom grounded for weeks, his parents convinced he was living a secret life he couldn't explain. His arrogance crumbled, his confidence shattered, and all it took was a forged letter, a few flyers, and some condoms. That, my friends, is what I call poetic justice. Revenge doesn't always come from strength. It comes from creativity. Sometimes the best way to get even isn't by shouting or fighting back, but by hitting someone exactly where their arrogance leaves them vulnerable. So what do you think? Was this revenge brilliant or too far? Let me know in the comments, and tell me, what's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? If this story gave you chills, smash that like button and subscribe for more jaw-dropping stories of justice served cold.